More on that coming up in our next half hour, but we begin tonight with another scandal. The investigation into solar manufacturer Solyndra widening tonight as Department of Energy officials are questioned further by the Senate. And the Treasury Department now launching an investigation into the now bankrupt company, once touted as a symbol of stimulus success. Joining us now with his take is Republican Congressman Cliff Stearns of Florida, chair of the House Subcommittee on Investigations and Oversight. He held his own hearing yesterday. Congressman, I have to ask you, have we just scratched the surface here?
Well, I think we have. The FBI raided Solyndra 2 days after their bankruptcy. And the more we look at this, the more we realize this is a problem because the administration was shoveling all this money out without due diligence. And we have to wonder, is there politics involved? And also, I think what's very disquieting is the fact that the Department of Energy negotiated that 2 hedge funds get their money out before the $535 million that taxpayers put into this. And that's an illegal act, in my opinion, because the Energy Policy Act of 2005 said all things have to be subordinate to the taxpayer.
To that
money.
point, Senator, I mean, taxpayers having to get in line behind professional investors doesn't go down well with much of anybody. But I want to ask you about the fact that there's more money to go out the door before the end of the month. September 30th deadline for some $10 billion, 15 more loan guarantees. I want you to hear what Senator Lisa Murkowski had to say at today's Senate hearing and respond to that. Here's the senator.
We have a colossal failure within the Department of Energy with regards to this loan guarantee. It's calling into question every loan guarantee that has been issued.
All right, Congressman, what do you make of that? I mean, do you agree with Murkowski?
Well, I do. There's a lot of money to go out, as you mentioned, $8 to $10 billion that the Department of Energy is moving again to give loan guarantees to projects that are decided not upon the market, but based upon the government deciding winners and losers. That's not good. But more importantly, a lot of these projects are going into manufacturing without the proper competitive due diligence that's required that the free market naturally does. So I think our point's well taken. There's other Solyndras out there. My subcommittee on oversight investigation hopes to identify those. But more importantly, we'd like to hear from the executive, the CEO and the CFO. Next Friday, we're having them testify, and we hope to get to the bottom of this and, surely find out where all the money is.
Why is it taking so long to get people from the company to talk to the Congress?
Well, another reason is that we had to subpoena the information from DOE as well as OMB. We just sent a letter to the White House asking the White House for their emails dealing with Solyndra. They have not replied. There's not been full cooperation at this point between the administration and the executive branch helping the Congress, which has responsibility for oversight.
You guys have really had to scratch around for data, for information that you could rely on. It's been a tough road to hoe. But let me tell you, let me give you a little pushback here, because look, the administration says, if we don't become the leaders in green energy, somebody else will. China will, Europe will, somebody else. Here's Jay Carney talking about this very thing.
The President is absolutely committed to the idea that the United States must compete in the cutting-edge technologies of the 21st century. We have a choice to make as a nation, because we will be buying renewable energy products, whether it's wind, biofuels, solar. Do we want to buy it with a stamp on it that says Made in America, or are we going to buy it from the Chinese or from other countries?
How do you respond to that?
Well, first of all, he's missing the point. If the government is deciding winners and losers and is giving money to companies that are, shall we say, practice crony capitalism, that's not going to work, no matter what you talk about. But also, the President is a fervent believer of green jobs, and he thinks he can transform this economy just on wind and solar power manufacturing. That's not going to happen, because not only is the Chinese and other countries building these with cheaper labor, but also it's not good payback economically. So I think that the President is wrong in his religious fervor for these green jobs.
Well, yeah, it seems obvious at this point that green jobs is not the solution to 14 million Americans looking for work. But let me get you to some of the things that you've been actually looking very hard at, and those are the internal emails from the Department of Energy, which show that Department of Energy officials knew there were problems at this company, Solyndra. You have said that somebody needs to be fired, somebody needs to go. Who is it? Is it the head of the Department of Energy? Is it someone else?
Well, Mr. Silver is, of course, the top loan officer of the Department of Energy. I think he should be fired. And I think the person that he replaced, he came in November 2009, the person before him should have been fired. And I think the administration should step up to the plate, try and find out through their investigation process of the White House what actually happened, and tell the taxpayer how much money's left. But the problem is with these scandals, no one gets fired and they're all covered up. And I don't want to see that happen. I think the taxpayers losing $500 million is significant, and the fact that the FBI has raided this company shows that there could be theft.
Theft. Well, that's not an issue for regulators. That's an issue for a judge and a jury. Who do you think stole money?
Well, I don't know if they did. You know, it's up in the air, but Jerry, the fact is that they came in and took all the hard drives, they took all the accounting information, and Price Waterhouse, before this company in the spring wanted to go public, explained that the company was going to run out of money. The Department of Energy knew, OMB knew, the White House knew they were going to run out of money. They tried to bail them out with these two hedge funds, one of which was Argonaut, which the prime investor is George Kaiser, who did a large bundling of money for the Obama administration when they ran for president. He was also involved with the original investment of Solyndra. So I think we have to look at this and find out what really happened.
So presumably corporate officials walking away with the kind of information that would have made your investigation much easier. We've got the involvement of contributors to the president's campaign, large-scale donors, bundlers. It's almost unbelievable, this story. Congressman, you've got to come back, talk to us some more as this story unravels. We'll definitely want to follow the hearing you have set next week with corporate insiders, the leaders of that company, to find out what they have to say.